All right, everyone, welcome back to Student Dream TV, bringing you the best money, investing, and startup tips so that you can secure the bag before and after graduation. I'm your host, Nina, and as always, I'm so excited to see you. Have you ever wondered how you can take your love of beauty and makeup and turn it into a full-time job? Well, if that's you, I am excited to share this interview with Jennifer Navas, the founder and CEO of Jennifer Navas Makeup Artistry. She was able to take her love of beauty and turn it into a full-time enterprise. And so if that's something you want to do, make sure to keep watching. All right, Miss Navas, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I briefly just introduced everyone to you, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself. If you can tell us who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do.
Well, as you all know, my name is Jennifer Navas. I have my own company, Jennifer Navas Makeup Artistry. I currently reside in Union City, New Jersey, where I do my services, bridal and, just working with everyday women. I'm married to an amazing husband. I have 3 little girls. One is actually just going to be 5 months in 2 days. So it's, a lot going on over here. But yeah, I'm a minority. My parents are from Dominican Republic. They immigrated to the United States and here I am. Thankfully.
Beautiful. Wow, that's amazing. I love it, especially the fact that you're a mom entrepreneur. And yes. that's just a whole nother level of creativity, not just being able to
and
create
hustle for sure.
Right, you were able to create children. Yeah. And so before I dive into the questions, I'd love to hear a bit about how you started. If you can tell us, how, because I know your background was previously in a whole other industry. So how did you start the company?
So I do have to take it back. Originally I started in accounting, but even before that, when I think back to being a kid, I loved art. Like I grew up watching Bob Ross. My brother, who's 6 years older than me, he was a painter. So we would watch Bob Ross every weekend after school. Just art was in my nature and I loved it.
Yeah.
But somehow like senior year comes in high school and when you don't really have guidance or people to like affirm your talents and what you're good at, I ended up choosing accounting, which is a great field. I chose it because I knew it was going to be stable. I would always have a job and it was safe. And I do enjoy working with numbers. So that's the route that I went. I ended up going to Rutgers University, the business school there in New Brunswick, graduated, went straight into working in the corporate world.
And you studied accounting in undergrad?
Yes. So I studied accounting, started working for Kenneth for about 6 years. But I was not passionate about it. So just in that time of working, a couple of friends, I started to experiment with makeup. One friend came to me for a prom appointment. Another friend was actually getting married and didn't have an artist. So she's like, Jen, do my makeup. I know you do makeup nice. And when I did it, I just felt so fulfilled. I was like, wow, this is really like, number one, it was fun to me. And I enjoyed seeing women just like stand up a little different after that application. Like you can see the confidence. And that's when I started to tell myself, like, maybe I should get into this,
Yeah.
Just by liking it, I took a leap of faith. I got my certification while I was an accountant. And then, once I had my first daughter, I decided to leave accounting, be a stay-at-home mom. And that's when I really just like dug deep and told myself, I'm not going to do makeup as a side hustle anymore. I need to do this full time and full throttle. So I've been doing this solidly and full throttle for 4 years, May 2nd, 2016.
Wow, congrats. So it's your anniversary. Way to go.
Yes, I'm proud
That's
of myself.
Not easy. And
it's not.
Because I think for so many of us, myself included, many of us listening, to know that you have a passion is one thing. To invest in yourself so that you can actually do that passion full time is another thing. But then to make the decision to leave a secure job and to venture into the unknown is a whole nother thing. Can you talk about how you were able to make that leap with courage and confidence?
Honestly, when you're not happy, like in your current work situation, like you have to really think about it. Do I want to do something for the rest of my life that I am not passionate about? Like there were days I was crying in my cubicle. I was feeling depressed. Like it just wasn't worth it, you know? So we chose to like change our lifestyle, you know, our finances greatly diminished because, you know, it was a good salary doing
Yeah.
accounting. And to now become, you know, a freelancer, it's a big difference. So we had to let go of a few things. But honestly, it's been rewarding. It's definitely a long process, not a long process, but you can't think you're going to have short-term success. Like you really have to be in it for the long haul. And that's why passion is necessary, because you're not going to get results in 1 or 2 days. It literally takes time.
Yes, that is so good. And I think it's so important, especially for young people to hear. I remember when I graduated college and I started Student Dream when I was 23 years old, and I was so used to things being completed in 4 years. So by the time it was year 2, I was getting frustrated because I didn't see all the progress that I wanted to see. And it's great to know that you were thinking like an investor. You knew that this is not a short-term day trade, but this is a long-term investment that I'm going to make. And I'm confident you've already invested in yourself, and you knew that the reward for taking that risk was so much better. So that's encouraging, Jen. Thanks for sharing. And so, you know, like just looking back, I mean, it's been 4 years now. Looking back, you know, what is one thing that you wish you knew before getting started full-time as a business owner in the makeup space?
I think number one, I think it's important to note that like at a young age, I think we put so much value into our careers, right? Like as soon as you come out of college, you're like, okay, I need to get a full-time job. Like I need to pursue what I studied for. And sometimes we almost make that into a God. Like I remember when I first graduated, like it took a few months for me to find my first opportunity at Kenneth. And I felt low. I felt depressed. I felt like a nobody. So I think I would tell myself in that stage, like, you know, your career doesn't define you. It doesn't define your worth. You know, I'm not defined by what I do, but who I am, right? And then when I think about it, I didn't really pursue my passion until I'm like, what, 31, 32. So like life is a long journey, you know, you're more than what you do. So take your time and let God lead, you know?
Yes. I love it. Come on, woman of faith. You better tell them holistic.
I love you, man.
Love you too. And so, I mean, you think about that. Work doesn't define you, but it can be so hard when money's such an important thing, especially in this pandemic where folks are losing their jobs. They're battling so many different levels of trauma, losing loved ones. What would be some of the career or financial advice that you would give to the graduating class of 2020, right? Because it's, yes, I have dreams, but there's some short-term needs I have as well.
Yes. Number one, I mean, like you have to be wise with what God's already given you. You have to be a good steward with what's already been given to you, because if you want more luxuries and you can't even handle what you already have, like you're not going to get blessed with that. So I think it's important to get really organized with your finances. Make sure that you're living within your means. And honestly, I mean, I'm gonna have to throw in a little promo here. Like Dave Ramsey changed my life. He's actually, like, I thank him in my heart because he's what afforded me the ability to become a freelancer, because I was able to like track my spending. I was able to, you know, remove unnecessary expenditures. So I think it's really important to just get in tune with your finances, really know what you're making, what it is that you're spending, and remove anything that's not necessary. Because I think a lot of times when we're young, we're very reckless. So I think you have to start with what you have and start from there.
Love it. And then what about on the career side?
Okay. No. What was the question again? I got too nervous.
No, it's you're doing great.
Okay.
So it was, what career and financial advice would you give to the class of 2020?
Okay, so
you gave the financial advice.
So for this question, I prepared to tell people that want to become makeup artists. Like I kind of just wrote out like a quick roadmap. Is that okay?
Yeah. So you know what? Let me actually rephrase the question then.
Okay.
You know, so Jen, as an experienced full-time artist, what would be your advice for aspiring makeup artists? How do they break into the space?
Okay. All right. So I kind of want to be practical with this and just kind of give like a step-by-step of just simple things you can do to start. Number one, ask yourself, is this something that I like? And I'm going to use the word like and not love, because you're not always going to have an epiphany moment, right? You're not always going to get this moment where you're like, wow, this is my purpose. This is my passion. This is what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes it'll just come from liking something, right? So like, I liked how I felt when I first did makeup, and I knew like, I need to develop this. And in developing it, I became in love with it. So the first step is really make sure that you like the art. You know, is this something that you enjoy talking about? Do you like to look at videos about it? Have you applied it on somebody and really enjoyed the process? So start there. The next thing I would say to do is to really study the industry and its leaders. So before I decided to really get into makeup full time, I took like 3 months, and I literally made like a ghost account on IG, and I was watching everything that was going on. I was looking at, you know, different bloggers, different artists, what products were they using, what hashtags. There's so much going on in the makeup world right now. Like, companies that didn't exist are coming out with lines. Companies that did exist are now realizing that there's a huge market with women of color. Like, there's so much happening in the beauty industry that you need to kind of be aware of which lane you want to really get on, because there's different lanes. For instance, there's different beauty styles. There's red carpet, there's bridal, there's special effects. There's no makeup. You know, there's all different types of lanes that you can go on. And even further, you got to decide what kind of brand you want to be. Do you want to be, let's say, do you want to be like a beauty educator? You know, do you want to end up learning techniques and teaching others? Do you want to be a beauty brand? You know, somebody that actually performs services, which is what I do. So really, I'm not really like the face on my IG page. It's more of my work. There's also artists that just really focus on a beauty niche. They may do just cut crease eyes. They may just focus on lips. You know, you really have to decide what your lane is. And whatever you choose, know that it's okay. You know, when I first started out, I felt like I couldn't find myself in a lot of the things that I was seeing, because I'm not a cut crease eye girl. I'm not like, you know, rainbow colors on the eyes. I'm very soft, very natural, very neutrals. But once I started to like really, you know, hone in on that, like I found my voice. I found my people. I found my tribe, women that love exactly what I love. You know, so really you got to find yourself in the art. I would say the next thing to do is absolutely invest. I think in today's...
That's good. Emphasize that, because not everything is DIY.
Exactly. Exactly. And not everything is free. I think because social media is ever present, like we think things are quick, things are supposed to be free, and we almost act entitled to receive the information. And that's just not how it is. You're going to have to invest time, tears. I will tell you, even in something that I love, I've cried over it. You're going to invest money. Like, you have to really, really, really be willing to give something up for it, you know?
That's
and
good,
with
Jen.
that, I mean, there's different avenues you can go. You can choose the cosmetology route to get your license. You can choose to just get certified, which is what I did. Because in my state, I don't need a license to perform makeup services. And you can also do independent writing with amazing artists right now. So in that time that you're studying, you know, the #1 platform for beauty, which is Instagram, you can find who are the educators that are doing exactly what I want to do, you know, and just start from there. And the last thing I would say is, honestly, just do it. I think sometimes like we overthink every little step.
True.
We want everything to be perfect. I remember the first time that I was like, okay, I need to showcase some of my work. I literally just got a friend and I picked out a few things that I had, just did my thing, took a couple pictures with my camera and posted it. You know, like, you just have to take that leap. Once you learn the skills, you have to just take the leap and do it.
I love it. Thanks for that breakdown, Jen. Invest your time, invest your money, and invest your tears.
Yes,
because not every
times.
I mean, I'm not willing to cry over anything, but I'm certainly willing to cry over the work I do with Student Dream and the work I do with Black Wealth Matters.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too, like a lot of times I hear that saying, like, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. I do agree with that to some extent, but even in pursuing something that you love, in order to really fully develop it and make it even better, like there's work involved.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of work involved. Like, you know, I get a lot of people that they say, oh, that's just makeup. And in my head, I'm like, honey, you have no idea how much work it involves to do this line of work. I mean, and that's with everything, you know? So I guess my advice to these students that you guide, Nina, is just like, don't expect things to be easy.
Come
They will be
on.
rewarding, but you're gonna have to work. No matter if you find it enjoyable or if you think it's your dream job, ultimately at some point you're gonna have to like sweat for that job.
Yes, I love it. And what is something, I don't know, did I already ask you what is one thing you wish you knew before getting started? Did I ask that?
Something that I wish I knew before getting started.
Let me ask it again.
Okay.
What's one thing that you wish you knew before getting started?
So as it pertains to makeup, I think I wish I would have known like how amazing it is and how much more beneficial it is to have one-on-one education, specifically for a makeup artist. In the beginning, I invested, in a classroom setting to get my certification, and
Yes.
I honestly didn't get what I really needed. I think if I had taken my time just a little bit more to do more research, I would have preferred to invest in an artist that I absolutely love, look up to, just like really admire their work, and paid the thousands of dollars, because it's thousands. It's not going to be hundreds, it's going to be thousands of dollars to like sit with this person and have them teach me, how to make my craft even better. So I think if I was to start all over again, I would have done the one-to-one route.
Okay, one-to-one. That's good. And all right, let me think. What's my next question? I think you broke this down.
The top 3 advice for
you kind of already say that, but I'll ask it again.
Okay.
So Jen, you kind of you touched on this a bit, but what would you say are your top 3 pieces of advice that you would give to aspiring makeup artists?
For sure, number 1 would be you. Like be you, be you, be you, be yourself. That is something that I really struggled with in the beginning. I think I mentioned it before, like it was really hard to find myself because I didn't feel like I looked like the typical makeup artist. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I offered the services that a typical makeup artist offered. But like once I became comfortable with myself and what I had to offer, that's when I found the blessing. That's when I found like, wow, the very thing that I feel makes me a misfit is the very thing that God is using to bless me with more clients.
Exactly.
So I think it's so important to be yourself, and you're going to love your craft so much more. Like, I am so thankful that today I don't have to appear like somebody else. I don't have to talk like anybody else. I don't have to have my kit set up like other artists. I do exactly what makes me comfortable, and I book the clients that make me comfortable, the clients that I want to book. Like, I don't just book anybody. Like, I didn't get into this business to, deal with fools. You know what I mean? Like, I came into this business to work with the kind of clients that I love, that are loyal, that are kind, that are passionate, that are committed to being punctual. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, be yourself. You're going to get so much more out of what you do by being 100% yourself. I think the next thing I would say is just start with what you have. I think when I first started, I'm telling you, I had nothing. Like, I had a Mary Kay sample of lipstick. I had like an eyeshadow that I would double up as highlighter.
I love it.
No professional camera. Like, I started, but my first job, like, people saw it and were like, wow, there's potential here. And this was my friend, and we just went to my backyard and just put something together. You know what I mean? So just use what you have. The beauty of makeup is that you can use one product in multiple ways. So just be resourceful. What's my last thing I would say is, oh my goodness, yes. Do not.
I'm like, this is about to hit y'all. Y'all brace yourself. This is about to be good. She said,
oh my goodness. I would tell somebody that's coming up, man, don't settle. Do not settle. Let me tell you, when you get into business, like people are going to try to play you. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. I'm telling you. And you have to love on yourself, because there's going to be moments that people are not going to love your work, but you can't do it for others. You know what I mean? Like, this is art. You have to remember, this is art. This is an art perspective. Like, if you feel that you did your best, that's the best that you can do. That's stellar, So like, don't start off in this industry with giving discounts, selling yourself short, doing job opportunities that you should get paid for, doing them for free. Don't do it. Don't do it, because there's always money for you to get paid. People just don't want to tell you that. I had to say no to many opportunities where people wanted me to show up. I'm talking about for either nothing or chump change. And I would respond back, like, to speak up for the community of artists, because I'm not just representing myself. I'm representing my community. And I would tell them, like, listen, this is unacceptable. This is a profession.
You said that. Wow.
you know? So it's, you know, in the makeup world, people, they don't necessarily value it the way that they should. They don't get it until they get a bad makeup artist who charges like 20, 40, $30. You know what I mean? So just stand up for your worth, believe in yourself, and just tune everybody else out and do your thing.
I love that. And how were you able to, because that's hard. I mean, think about, I mean, I'm 22, for the 22-year-old listening, I'm 30, right? But I'm still trying to find my worth and value. How were you able to, were you always at that place of knowing this is my worth? How did you get there?
Honestly, by me investing in my education. So every year I make it a point to go to a seminar, you know, study with an artist. And in those spaces, like I choose to invest in educators that are in higher platforms than I am. So these kind of educators, they empower you to stand firm. You know, like I want to work with celebrity makeup artists so that I can bring that celebrity treatment to my everyday woman. You know, so this is why it's so important to be around like-minded, you know, community members in the makeup community, because when they think big, it allows you to think big, you know. And by me just being around that kind of environment, it taught me like, no, I can't be doing makeup for no $50 anymore. Like, I have to either, you know, I have to get my level, my skills up so that I can finally charge the appropriate rate that I know I can be worth. And today I'm there because I stood firm. I keep working till this day on my craft. Like I don't get lazy. In this whole, you know, this whole pandemic, like, yes, I've been home with my little 5-month-old and my 2 other daughters, but at nighttime, once they're asleep, like at midnight, that's when I grind, right? Like, that's when I'm looking up webinars. That's when I'm taking notes. That's when I'm buying, you know, new products that I know will level up my kit. So it's a progressive grind. You always have to be trying to be better. So.
Come on, Jen. So you just said a lot in that
I did.
1 minute. And so I want to talk to, because some of the people watching this, they have since graduated college. Maybe they're some of the parents of our students. Maybe they're some of the audience that we serve with our other platform, Black Wealth Matters, who are mothers and they're entrepreneurs, or maybe they're, you know, they're fathers and they're entrepreneurs. Like, what do you say? What's that experience been like for you as both a full-time mom and a full-time entrepreneur? But you've done it. You're doing it. Like,
I know.
How?
Look, at some point you have to say, I am proud of myself, because it is hard. Oh my God. Yes. It is hard. Like even right now, I can hear my 5-month-old.
Yes.
Like, I can hear it. But you have to keep it moving. I mean, there's moments of frustration, you know, especially like right before even an interview or taking on a client, like things just, you know, your kids want to act up. It, you know, it can be difficult, but you get through it. You get through it. You just have to be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself. And you have to be willing to sacrifice. Like I have to sacrifice my nighttime sleeping, right? So as soon as I put the baby down and the girls down around 9 o'clock, I know that once 10 o'clock hits and I've, you know, unwinded for like an hour, I have to start working because that's my only time. You know, so we do have to make a few sacrifices, but I also know that this is not forever. You know, one day my girls are going to be bigger, and hopefully my story can be an inspiration to them. You know, like I want them to see like, wow, my mom started her own company.
Come on.
My mom like is creating opportunities for other people. You know, I have assistants that come with me on these jobs. So like if I have a party of like, you know, 6 people, 5 people, I like to share that with my assistants, you know, to create opportunities. So it's rewarding. Yes, it's tough, but being a mompreneur is awesome.
Well, thank you so much, beautiful Jennifer Navas. Is there any final words of advice or encouragement, empowerment that you have for those listening?
I would just say, love yourself. Remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Those things that you feel make you a misfit or an outcast are actually the beautiful parts of you. Own it, and you're going to see it create blessings for you.
Come on. Well, thank you, Jen, for being with us here today. I'm so excited. And as always, everybody who's listening, let me know what's been your aha moment. There's so much knowledge and gems that Jen just dropped, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't apply it. And remember, talk is cheap, talk is broke, and time is money. So get started today, y'all. You can do it. All right. Let me know in the comment section below what your next step is going to look like, and hit that like button if you are going to make a move. Okay. We'll see you next time, everyone. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks, Jen.
All right. Thank you, Nana.